welcome back to another video. It is the last week of January and I need to do the site prep for expanding my garden here at my home. I really don't film at my home very often. I just kind of don't want that on the internet. And so most of the shots you'll see are just of my backyard and of the ground. But anywho, a big part of survival is gardening. And I know it doesn't sound sexy. It doesn't sound like super like manly and things like that, but it is so important to know how to grow your own food, how to make it sustainable over a long period of time. And over the years, my gardening expertise, I would think, has grown some, but I'm going to show you how to maximize your space. It doesn't take a lot of space to grow a ton of food. And so over the years, especially in my backyard, things have morphed and changed. And so I got a big project ahead of me today, so I'm going to get started on the demo, but I'll give you a little tour first. So this behind me has been an ongoing project for 5 years, ever since we moved into this house. And I have worked so hard to get this thing tamed and I can't do it. So the only solution that I can come up with is to just rip everything out, get everything dead, put some organics in it, and turn it into a vegetable garden. Call us right here River Treasure. This is what my kids dive for in the the deep end of the pool. I'll tell them what I'm gonna find back here. What is this? What? Anybody want a ducky? Hearing things over here in the trees, and there's about 20 robins, and they are waiting for me to get out of here because they see the dirt and they're ready to get some worms. All right, that's a wrap on this phase. I got most of it down to the soil. A couple of root balls are still in there and some little tufts of grasses and things I'm gonna need to get up eventually. There's also an old tree stump. So still some work to do. I found 2 river treasures, pool treasures, these little sinkers that the kids like to dive and find. This is the best one because it's the exact color of our pool, so it's really hard to find. Found 4 tennis balls in various states of decay, just depending on how many times the lawnmower smacked it and flew it into the flower bed. I found a lighter that was definitely not from my family because I just never use lighters like that. And then the surprise of all is this little duck. So from the previous homeowners. So it's looking pretty good. I think the wife will be happy. There is a ton of square footage here. I'm gonna have a massive garden. I'm excited to have this for my family. This garden space is gonna serve 3 main purposes. One, it looked ugly and I just needed to clear it out and do something with it, so it's gonna look better. Number 2, it's gonna give food for our family. And number 3, it is going to give me practice. I have years of gardening experience, but in a doomsday scenario and a prepping scenario, you want to be up on your game. You don't want to be taken by surprise. And so as much experimenting and experience that I can get before anything happens, the better off I'm gonna be. And so there's a few plants that I wanna plant that I've never planted before, and so that's part of the learning curve. So, all right, it is the last week of February and it feels great outside. And so I'm gonna give you an update on the prepper garden and what I'm gonna get done today. I'm not sure how well it picks up on camera, but I dug up all the big stumps from the hydrangea, the hibiscus, a couple of tree roots in there, and I'm going to get my tiller out and go all the way through this and try and even it out and put the landscape fabric down and have a clean slate to work with for when I do my raised beds. All right, I've taken one pass with the tiller. Probably went down maybe an inch or two, not super deep, trying to rip up all the roots and little grasses and stuff that have been down in there. So you may be able to tell that I left the last foot or so in the back not tilled up. Those are irises. They come in beautiful and purple, soak up a lot of water from when the yard drains down, and it's going to give a little natural barrier to the backside of this garden. So I'm going to leave that there. Everything else is tilled up about 2 inches deep, and I'm going to make a second pass and get it to about 4 inches deep. Also, please note that I'm not tilling to actually plant in the ground here. I'm going to have raised beds. I'm more tilling just to give a flat, even surface, and with all the holes that I've dug up from the other plants that were in there, I need to fill those in with some of this dirt and just get a nice clean slate, let it settle over the next month, so that when I come back here in March and I put the gravel down and the planter boxes and stuff in there, it'll be good to go and nice and flat. Not a whole lot of interesting things were found in the garden. I did find this little guy, and he was hibernating deep underground and did not want to be messed with. I just stuck him over here so I knew I wouldn't hurt him with the tiller. Also found a brick. Thank goodness I saw it before I ran over it with the tiller, so found that. Also found these. I'm not sure what plant these go to. These are bulbs of some kind, obviously. It could be like a garlic or an onion. If you know, comment below. They're kind of white on the inside. Yeah, that was interesting. Found like 30 of these, so maybe this was a garden at one point. Apparently I left my good rake at the off-grid cabin, so I'm gonna have to make do with what I got, fill in these holes, make it nice and even, give it some time to settle over the next month so I can put the fabric on top. All right, I am going to get this covered because while it's only the second week of March, it has been an unusually warm springtime. So I can already see weeds starting to grow up right now, and I don't want to be fighting that battle later. So I'm going to go ahead and get it covered, and later on I'll cut out any spots I need for the planter boxes that will be going in. But I need to get ahead of the springtime right now, and so I'm gonna do that right now, and then here in a few weeks we'll come back and get everything actually planted and going. As you can see, the irises are already coming up and are ready to go. I'm going to not cover those. I want to have kind of a natural backdrop to the garden and give plenty of opportunities for bees and other insects to come in and pollinate everything. So I'm gonna kind of put the fabric here in a line and get everything covered up. All right, so ignore my footprints all over the place, but we have it covered and staked down, and I'm going to put black crushed limestone right on top of this. And so all of this will get covered up. It'll prevent the weeds from growing up around everything. As you can see here, I left the back part open for the irises to keep growing in and soaking up all the water that comes down to this part of the yard. But yeah, next step is to build the planters, get those put right on top.